A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant diplomatic development, the United Kingdom, France, and Germany have reached a consensus to reinstate stringent United Nations sanctions on Iran by the end of August if no tangible progress is made towards a nuclear deal. This decision comes amid escalating tensions and a series of discussions among European diplomats and U.S. officials regarding Iran's nuclear ambitions. The ambassadors of the three nations convened at Germany's UN mission on Tuesday to deliberate on the potential reinstatement of the sanctions snapback mechanism, a provision that allows for the reimposition of penalties if Iran fails to comply with its nuclear commitments. The urgency of the situation was underscored during a phone call on Monday between U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the foreign ministers of the UK, France, and Germany, where the primary focus was ensuring that Iran does not develop or acquire nuclear weapons. According to sources familiar with the matter, these discussions highlighted the need for a robust and verifiable agreement that addresses the international community's concerns regarding Iran's nuclear activities. In response to these developments, Iranian state media reported that the Iranian parliament has declared that the country will not resume nuclear negotiations with the United States unless certain preconditions are met. The statement from Iran emphasized that past negotiations were often used by the U.S. as a means to deceive Iran and conceal military actions by Israel. The Iranian leadership has insisted that any future talks must come with guarantees that there will be no further military strikes against its territory. The UK, France, and Germany were part of the 2015 nuclear agreement with Iran, which aimed to curb the country's nuclear program in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions. However, the United States withdrew from this agreement under President Donald Trump, who argued that it was insufficiently stringent. The snapback provision embedded in the original accord allows any of the Western signatories to reinstate UN sanctions if Iran fails to meet its obligations. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot has reiterated that the three European nations would be justified in reapplying sanctions if Iran does not provide a verifiable commitment by the end of August. The French Foreign Ministry issued a statement following a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Brussels, emphasizing the importance of resuming negotiations to establish a long-term framework for Iran's nuclear program. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araqi has indicated that Tehran is open to resuming talks with the U.S., provided there are assurances against further attacks on its nuclear facilities. He has previously stated that the recent Israeli and U.S. strikes have complicated the diplomatic landscape, making it more challenging to reach a resolution. The U.S. and Iran have engaged in multiple rounds of negotiations regarding the nuclear program before the escalation of military actions began in June. Although Trump and his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, have suggested that talks will resume soon, no concrete schedule has been established. In a recent interview, Araqi maintained that Iran's nuclear program is intended for peaceful purposes and asserted that the doors of diplomacy will remain open. Meanwhile, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has claimed that U.S. airstrikes have severely damaged Iran's nuclear facilities, hindering the country's ability to assess the extent of the destruction. Furthermore, Iran has suspended its cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, raising further concerns about the transparency of its nuclear activities. As the deadline for negotiations approaches, the international community watches closely, hoping for a peaceful resolution to the ongoing tensions surrounding Iran's nuclear program. The stakes are high, and the potential for renewed sanctions may have far-reaching implications for regional stability and international relations. The diplomatic efforts in the coming weeks will be crucial in determining the future of Iran's nuclear ambitions and the security of the broader Middle East region. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.